That's the way it always works.
Oh man.
Everybody that watches this will be like, what are they laughing at?
Hey Defenders. Welcome to another episode of the Defender Facebook Live. I'm joined today by a very special guest. Before we get into it, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for being part of the Alliance. Uh, as you guys know, my main goal for this group is to be the number one resource for all the active duty and the veterans in the health and fitness business. All right. So my mission to you guys is to provide you guys with the resources, the tools that you guys need to succeed and help you guys accomplish your goals. So with that being said, I have a very special guest with you guys. We have on the show Misty Henderson, USMC Veteran, who is now a brand developer and strategist. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Misty, tell us a little about your service and what you're up to now.
I was in the Marine Corps late 90s to about mid 2001. I was an aircraft electrician. Loved it. Worked on F-18s. Best thing ever. But like most people, September 11th happened and plans changed. Chose a new path. And here I am. I'm always been into like art and always been pretty artistic and decided why not channel that into something that I can do in the real world. So I went to design school and eventually started just doing branding for businesses because I understood it. It's psychology driven, it's purpose driven. So it's just something I understood, and I have to say I'm pretty good at it.
Well, just to go back to your service, you served before 9/11, and
I
how long did you
did
serve for?
4 years.
Okay,
Four
so you did
years.
enlistment. What was your
Yes.
biggest takeaway from the service?
So it's something I've actually instilled in my children, and it's still something I completely and totally live my life by. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. And I don't know why that stuck with me, but it's just, it's the way I run my business. If I tell someone it's going to be due, that I'm going to have it to them on Friday, guess what? I'm having it to them on Thursday. It's that early mindset, that over deliver mindset. So I guess that was probably my biggest takeaway was to always over deliver.
So you got to be there 15 minutes to the 15 minutes prior, right?
Yes. Actually, I've been known to arrive places an hour early, but that's just because I will have an anxiety attack if I'm not there early. I guess I always think my drill instructor is going to bust out at me, or something.
Right,
You're
right.
late. It's like, no, 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 I swear I'm not.
um, so we talked about your biggest takeaway. What's your advice and to those wanting to serve, and what's your message to those that are still serving now?
I have a cousin who is getting ready to enlist in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
My biggest advice for him was learn as much as you possibly can while you're in there because the values you're going to get instilled with are going to be with you for the rest of your life. Number two is build your family while you're there. I have so many people that are like family to me that I served with, people that I've even met after, like you, and there's quite a few in the vet tribes that I'm like, we're family, we're brothers and we're sisters, we're here to look
Right.
out for each other. And the third thing I told him was always keep your eye on the future. Don't get complacent and think that you know what you're doing in the military is going to be what you do when you get out. So take advantage of the learning opportunities that you're given and really capitalize on those because you never know once you get out what's going to happen. I wasn't expecting 9/11. I was fully prepared to become an aircraft electrician. I had signed up for school to learn about commercial airlines, and it happened, and everything changed, and I wasn't prepared for it. And I don't want anyone who goes in to end up in a position where they get out and they're lost and they don't have anywhere to go. So take advantage of the opportunities you're given and learn as much as you can.
I love that. I love that message, Misty, especially when you said, don't be complacent, right? Sometimes we
Yeah.
tend to fall into, we get into this mood where we're too relaxed and we think we have it all made out, and then next thing you know, life happens, right?
I think
Life gets in the way.
it does. Life tends to throw you curveballs, but there's a difference between being sure of yourself and that ego we tend to all develop, and just
Right.
being complacent with your life's future and where you're going to be in 5, 10, 20 years. Because I know a lot of people, they go in full intention, oh, I'll do 20 years and then I'll retire. They end up doing 4 or 5 and then they end up getting out. It happens, but you got to take advantage of those opportunities.
Awesome. Excellent message, Misty. Now let's talk about your transition out of the Marine Corps. How was your experience, and what led you to becoming a brand developer and strategist?
Well, like I said, I got out. September 11th happened. I was, looking at schools to become a commercial airline electrician. So like work
Okay.
on 737s and things like that. It's a little bit different than an F-18. But 9/11 happened. The industry tanked. They were laying people off left and right. No one wanted to fly. Everyone was scared. Um, you know, it was a fear, and I wasn't needed in that industry, and I had to stop and I had to think, what am I going to do? I have a kid. I'm a single mom. I have a child to support. What do I do? So I really thought about, what do I love doing? Where does my passion lie? And art has always been a big part of my life. It's something that my family has always supported, something they've always pushed me to continue to do, to learn, to explore. So I decided, well, I'm going to go to school. I'll go to design, learn graphic design. In 2001, graduated, 2002, something like that. I think it was 2002 is when I graduated. God, it's been so long. It's that old person. Mental capacity is kicking in. But yeah, I think it was 2002 I graduated. Just because I had so much I had done in the military that I didn't have to take all the classes. It was nice, but that led me into doing like print design. So I designed wedding invitations. I designed funeral announcements. Not the most glamorous jobs. I mean, we're talking low level graphic design work here.
Startup.
Yes, yeah, that freelance startup,
Yeah.
level of business. But I slowly started meeting the right people. I worked for, I've worked for little companies, little startups, here locally in Texas, and then I worked for Victoria's Secret in their merchandising department. And if you want to talk about a difficult job, trying to tell a brand story with nothing but bras and panties, that's tough. That is hard. Okay. But I learned a lot, which really helps me now because a lot of businesses are moving into the online sphere and they
Right.
want to, how do they build their brand online? Well, how do you display your products on your e-commerce site to make them interesting and people want to buy it? They're compelled to do that. How do they do that? What words are you using? Because that can play a really big role. So I started getting into the real psychology driven portion of it, and it just fascinates me. So I keep doing it and I love it.
Trying to get the emotions out of the customer,
The
right?
emotions is it's trying to find that deep seated fear, and it's the fear they're not going to tell you what the true fear is. You have to figure that out. And it's paying attention to what do they say when they're on social media. What are they really truly saying, and how do I solve that problem for them? That's the part that I enjoy most. I think is that psychology portion of it, in finding and developing a customer, and really, how do I drive them to where they just can't resist buying from this company?
Awesome message, Misty. Awesome. We're delving deep here into brand developing
Yes,
and strategy. So if you guys are out there watching, make sure you guys uh,
yes, please
provide your
like.
questions. Provide your questions to Misty if you guys got any. All right. So Misty, how did your time in the Marine Corps, how did that help you with your current business and your passion right now?
Discipline. I work from home. I have a teenager who's about to graduate high school. Oh, God, that's hard enough. But then I started over, and I have two toddlers who are home with me
Right.
all day, every day. And I think the discipline to actually sit down and do what I know needs to be done and to grow my business is probably the biggest thing I took away from the military is discipline. Without it, I wouldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel
I
I
wouldn't.
feel like that's with most of everybody, right? That's the one thing that we that's our biggest takeaway is the discipline that
It is.
the military provides
And
for you, especially in the
what's
Marine Corps.
what you most people, they don't understand the level of discipline they have been instilled with until they open their own business. And then they start to see, wow, I know I got that from the military. I know that's what my drill instructors or my DIs instilled in me. I know that's what my COs instilled in me. You see it. Like, you see yourself really just buckling down, doing what needs to be done because the mission is grow my business. So what
Right.
do I have to do right now that will do that? Will get me a little bit further ahead. So I think discipline's probably the biggest.
Awesome message. All right, so we talked about your transition. We talked about your biggest takeaway from the military. Let's go into your business. Can you share with us some of the well, first let's start off with some of the worst moments you've had in your business.
Um, I think the worst moments are always the ones that are self-inflicted. The When the doubt creeps in, when you don't feel like you're good enough, or you don't feel like you're going to grow, or you don't feel like this is going to be a viable option, or you're never going to succeed. I think those for me are the worst moments. Um, I think it happens to us all at some point. That doubt creeps into our minds, and it just starts to eat away at us. And I have found in those moments that the only thing I can do is to look back at where I was when I first started and where I am now and say, you know what? If I wasn't able to do it, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I think those are the worst moments, are the self-inflicted pain that we put on ourselves, that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that, especially in the beginning when you're starting out. You're your biggest enemy, right? You put all these doubts in your mind. You think that you can't do it when you can, and it's one step at a time, guys. Just make sure you take that step forward. You know.
And like I said, just look back at where you were. Even, just a few months. My business is 3 months old. I love it. I've done so much in 3 months
Yeah.
that anytime that doubt creeps in, I'm like, you know what? I could be where I was last year and not have anything. But look at what I have now. And you know what? Instantly that it just banishes that self doubt, that pressure I put on myself.
All right. All right. So we talked about the worst moment, the bad part. Let's talk about the good part, right? What's been the best moment so far in your business?
The best moment so far, I'm still living the best moment so far. I did a giveaway in the vet group, and I've been able to help a veteran nonprofit build their brand, so their visual identity, and help them kind of hone in on their message. And now we're getting to where we're going to be doing their website. So I'm starting their website this week. So
Awesome.
I have to think that is probably one of the best moments of my business, is being able to be in a position to do that, to be able to give back to somebody else and help them build their business, because that's what it's all about. I don't succeed unless my clients succeed. And I think getting this nonprofit going and on the right track is probably the best fuzzy feeling, I've ever had. So
So, so maybe we have some listeners now, or people are watching this. They're looking to maybe starting their own business. Like you said, maybe developing their own brand.
mhm.
Can you offer some tips or any advice in regards to that?
Yes. The first thing any business needs to do before they launch a website, before you post on social media, before you do anything, is you need to find clarity. You have to know your why. You have to know what your mission is, your vision, what values do you stand for and stand behind. who is your customer? What is that pain point that you solve? What words do you need to use to attract that customer? And then once you have that foundation in place, is when you can start really building a visual brand. So your logo, your submarks, your colors, your website, all of that has to be based off of that foundation. You don't want to build something that's just going to crumble later. So those foundational pieces are really what is going to drive your business forward. And your visual should be based off of that. So that's my biggest tip. Build the foundation to your business and then worry about your visuals.
Awesome. Thanks for that tip and advice,
You're
Misty.
welcome.
All right, so going into that, what are some internet resource that our listeners or viewers can use in regards to branding?
I actually have a 7-day brand clarity challenge on my website that you can join, and it walks you through the foundation building.
Okay.
There's workbooks. It lasts for 7 days. Every day you get an email with a workbook, and you get to fill it out. And that really, I think, is where someone should start is with something like that, where they have to stop and they have to actually think about their business. And then once that's in place, you can use programs like Photoshop and Illustrator or Canva. Even now you can use to design a logo. You can hire a designer. You can hire someone like me. This is what I do. That's what I do. Or if you're bootstrapping it, a lot of startups are bootstrapping. You gotta do what you gotta do. You can design it yourself to get started, and then once you're in a position, hire a designer. That's there's so many resources out there available. There's so many designers out there available. There's probably one for every budget, I would imagine.
Right. Right.
There's no excuse to have a really bad brand anymore. There's just too many resources. A quick Google search can bring you back with, thousands of tips on branding. My website has, a blog on it where I blog about branding and building a business and productivity, and I cover a lot of topics, but the main thing I discuss is branding.
Like
Shameless
Misty
plug,
said,
by the
guys.
way.
Like Misty said, guys, there's no excuse nowadays. There's so many tools, apps that you guys can use. She mentioned a few. Canva is one of them. If you feel like you can't do it yourself, there's other resources like Fiverr or other things where you can hire somebody.
Be careful with Fiverr. I'll tell you a little something that I've learned. They tend to use a lot of like clip art and stuff like that. And sometimes all they've bought is a personal license and not a business license. So they're really not supposed to use it for anything other than for personal things. So building a brand with it can sometimes get you in trouble, especially if the person on Fiverr doesn't have the documentation to back up their license agreement. So just be leery of that. So make sure if you're going to use Fiverr that you ask them to, if they're using clip art or they're using someone else's illustrations, that they can document that they have the license to be able to distribute that to you, or you can end up in some big trouble. Just saying.
Well, great tip.
No one wants legal trouble for a $5 logo. Okay.
Let's look into we got Mark, we got Richard putting up some likes out there. Richard with a comment. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Richard.
Misty is awesome.
I'm a lot of fun.
All right, Misty. So we've come to near the end of our interview here. So I have 5 questions for you. Your 5 fitness facts. Are you ready?
Oh God. Okay.
All right. First question.
Okay.
First question.
Okay.
What's your favorite workout?
Yoga. Wait, swimming. No.
Yoga.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Well, yoga, swimming. Well, okay. So before you fire off the next one, I got to explain something. I love to work out. However, I have Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disorder. One of the side effects is my heart rate is like super elevated all the time, like resting heart rate 125. So I have to be very careful what kind of workouts I do. So nothing cardio related, or I feel like my heart's going to explode. So that's the reason why I said yoga or swimming. They're not too strenuous.
All right. So next question. I think I know what you're gonna say. Least
Okay.
favorite workout.
Cardio,
Yeah.
running. You can also thank the Marine Corps for that. Running 3 miles, I swear it was over 3 miles every time. It was more than 3 miles. But I hate it.
All right. So if you did work out, if you did yoga, right?
Okay.
Who would you who's that one person that you would choose to do yoga with and why?
Okay, this is going to sound really funny, but the one person I really want to work out with is Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Him doing yoga, I think would actually be really fun.
Oh man.
And
Hey,
I'd love
if
to work out
anybody's
with Chuck Norris.
if anybody's listening, drop some Chuck Norris facts.
Yes, please. Does he do yoga?
Please. Yeah. All right. Next question. Recommend a book for our viewers and listeners to read.
Story Brand. Read Story Brand. If you're
Story
looking to
brand.
build a business and really build your brand, Story Brand is the book for you. It literally walks you through how to turn your brand into a story that your customers are engaged in, that they are the star of the story and you are their guide. Best branding book I think I could recommend to someone that's just starting out.
Two straight in a row that's been recommended. So it is a good book.
It is a good book.
All right. So last question. Tell us
Okay.
your favorite quote and why.
A rising tide lifts all boats. And the reason why is because while I believe that every business has competition, I also believe that business owners should stop focusing on competing and start focusing on collaborating and start building each other up, instead of trying to constantly compete and constantly drag each other down. Build each other up, because the more you lift each other up, the more business you're both going to get. You're all going to get.
Right.
So that's my favorite quote: "Is a rising tide lifts all boats."
Excellent quote. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. And
You're welcome.
finally, Misty, you've provided a lot of great content and input. So where can our members find you on social? Where can they reach you? Where can they
You
contact you?
can find me on my website. It's Misty Anderson, not Henderson, AndersonDesigns.com. That's because my married name is Anderson, but I just never changed it on Facebook because it was just so close. I didn't think it would ever matter, but now I guess it does. And on Instagram, I am Misty Anderson Designs as well. So at Misty Anderson Designs.
All right, guys, there you have it. Misty Anderson. Make sure you guys get that right. Thanks
With an
again,
A.
Misty.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us, and
You're welcome. It's been fun.
appreciate all the knowledge you've dropped in regards to
Anytime.
brand.
Anytime. I am more than happy to. I give advice for free. You know, there's no point not to. And the design portions, I think I'll make you pay for that. But the advice, I mean, I'll give that out to you free all day long. I, post it on Facebook. I'll reply to Facebook messages, text messages, whatever it is. Just let me know, and I'll give you sound advice on how to boost your business and boost your brand.
And make sure you message me that link in regards to the branding. I'll drop it down in the
I
the
sure
notes.
will. I'll email it to you. That 7-day brand clarity challenge. So
All right,
7-day
awesome.
email challenge, free. It's great.
All right, defenders. Well, there you have it. Misty, thank you again
You're
for
welcome.
being our guest, and hopefully you guys got some tools for that. Thank you, Misty.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye.